guys, welcome to another Digital Epic. Dan here, and we got Jared, and we're gonna play a game with you today called Guess That Sauce. That sauce. That sauce. And so here's how it's gonna play. You can see the wheel behind me, and so how it's gonna work is simple. One of us is gonna go blindfolded, and so in this case, we're gonna start with Jared. He'll go blindfolded, and then we will spin the wheel. And whatever 3 sauces we get, I will put into one bowl, mix it up, and then he will have to dip his chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A. Shout out to Salem Chick-fil-A for fast service this morning as I got these. But you guys will watch, and he's gonna have to guess which 3 sauces are in there. Let's go ahead and get started. So Jared's gonna get blindfolded, and then we'll go ahead and pick his sauces.
I'm freaking out.
Let's go. We're in competition with one another. The idea here is if you every sauce that you guess correctly, you get 1 point. If you guess all 3, you get 4. So max amount of points is 8 because we're gonna do 2 rounds of this, 2 rounds each. All right, you ready, Jared?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. No peeking.
Dude, I can't see anything.
All right, number 1. All right, okay. Interesting.
That makes me feel a little bit confident. Either that
All right.
or bluffing.
I'm gonna try them. Here's number 2. I almost said it out loud. Okay. I actually think this pairing might not be too bad
You're
so
lying
far.
to me.
So far.
I'm so scared.
All right, and number 3. Okay, all right. Interesting.
Prayers.
Here is the first sauce. If you go ahead and reach right just to the next, don't dip your hand in the bowl. There you go, right down, straight down. All right.
Okay.
Go ahead and see if you can guess it. All right, what 3 sauces are there? Or do you think it is?
So, I feel like I got a little bit of spice. Not bad. So I'm gonna say Frank's Red Hot.
Okay.
And then I got some sweetness. So I'm gonna say, I think that narrows it down to a few. I'm gonna say Chick-fil-A sauce
Okay.
and teriyaki.
Interesting selection.
I really don't think I got any
So
of those.
you are 0 for 3.
Look like a ninja.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, so let's see what Dan's 3 sauces are gonna be.
I'm a little nervous now. You got an easy one last round.
Interesting, interesting. Okay. Second sauce.
The sauce.
Oh, I have to hit it twice. Second
Yep.
sauce. Interesting.
I don't like the silence.
Interesting.
I don't like it.
Third and final sauce. All right.
Oh,
okay,
man.
okay. All right.
Here we go. Am I in it?
Yep. You got the whole bowl. So what do you think your 3...
All right, can I pull my...
Yep, you're good, you're good.
All right. So, I tasted in there some tomato. So, initially I thought it was gonna be ketchup, but I actually think I got the shrimp cocktail sauce. That's my first guess.
All right.
My second guess is I'm gonna say Italian dressing.
All right.
And then third guess is A1 sauce.
All right. So I'm gonna tell you, you got 2 out of the 3.
Hey, that's not bad. So let's go ahead and spin, get us 3 sauces, and we'll go from there. All right, that's number
Dude,
1.
the silence, man. The silence is...
Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
All right. I'll give you a little hint. You're gonna like this first one.
Oh, bro.
There's a lot of sauces.
I
on
think
there.
you're bluffing, man. I don't trust you. So
All right.
I think you'll like this with ghost pepper.
And then 3.
Oh no, he was really quiet on that one.
Okay. So.
Oh, I'm not confident at all. I think I got 2 really bad ones.
So. All right, you're ready.
I got the nug.
You got the nug straight down. You're dipped. All right, you are.
Oh, I think I
completely
know one.
submerged.
Bro,
Is that good? I'm gonna remove that so you can't.
I don't know what it is.
Oh, no way, really? I mean,
Well-
I can't taste it, so I can't tell you what it is.
I think I know what one is. Dude, it's blinding. So, here's the thing. You said I would like the first one,
No, I gave
but
you a little
even
hint.
though there's 3 sauces in there, it literally tasted just like Chick-fil-A sauce.
Okay, all right.
So I'm going with that one first,
Okay.
but you said one was going to be distinguishable. So I'm thinking with the Chick-fil-A sauce, it tastes maybe a little bit sweeter, so I'm going to go syrup.
Okay.
And then the third, I'm going to go sweet chipotle barbecue.
Okay. So you got 1 out of 3 right. All right. Whenever you're ready. Yep.
All right, here we go. For Dan's round number 2, sauce number 1. All right. Okay. Interesting.
A1, baby.
Okay. All right. And for sauce number 3. Okay. Okay. This might taste decent. Okay. There you go. The bowl here.
Ah, got it. All right. Here we go. Am I in there?
Yep. Clear this real quick.
Oh my word.
Good or bad?
There's something in there that like I can't put my finger on. All right. So there's 2 flavors I think I identified, but I'm not really sure. I'm gonna say mustard.
Okay.
There's one. Syrup,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna go ahead and say teriyaki.
Okay. Well,
How'd I do?
you got syrup.
Hey, that one I definitely.
I think that one was really obvious.
yeah,
just
it was sweet.
because just with
But
the
that's
other
what I
two,
think is gonna mess me up with teriyaki because I'm
But-
guessing it because it was pretty sweet.
You also got mustard. Mustard is
Mustard is
we've
good.
got
all right.
mustard a lot.
Hey, 2 for 3.
And then you got ketchup. That was your
Oh,
third
okay.
one.
So I got 2 for 3 again.
Yeah.
All right. Bonus round. Here we go. We are going to get 5 sauces, double the points. I'm up 4-1 on Jared. And so we're going to go ahead and see what 5 we're going to add together. And so I didn't tell Jared this, but I just thought of this rule. If you get 2 of the same, it has to be 5 separate
Sounds good. I assumed
sauces.
that.
That way we get some clarity here. All right, here we go.
Dang, if we get ghost pepper and you put a ton in there, I'm actually gonna cry.
All right. Number 1. Not a great start.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me! No! There's
Number
no way.
2.
There's no way it got ghost pepper 2 times in a row though.
All right. Okay.
Somebody's gotta get it here though.
I hope I can remember all 5. That's gonna be.
I
should've wrote it
I
down.
honestly almost forgot.
Oh
yours.
my word! You are getting. I feel like we've all both got very similar ones.
Yeah.
For the most part. Minus like 1 ingredient. That's a double. I can't do that one. All right, so we're gonna do this one again. So this is number 4. Nope, that's another double. You're nervous with every double?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, and then the last one.
Oh Lord Jesus, please do not let me get ghost pepper, please.
All right, okay.
We ready?
All right, I'm gonna spin because it landed on one that you have.
I just want to let y'all know when Dan was making this, he said it's watery and chunky. Neither one of those things. Are.
Yeah, it's definitely more water
Okay,
sauce.
am I good?
Here, Jared go. He's gonna dip. Nope, over here. He's gonna dip in here. It's watery, so make sure you hold your hand on it. Yeah, there you go. He's got 5 sauces in there. This one looks the most gross out of
No,
anyone.
don't take that bad. Am I good?
All right, you're good.
So, the one it's gotta be, and I will be super surprised if it's not, is Frank's Red Hot. If that's not in here,
Okay.
I'm actually gonna be shook. Because you set it down and smelled it.
I'm actually surprised that's what you go with, but okay. I'm just kidding. Keep going.
think-
Frank's hot sauce.
Then I'm gonna say, then I got some sweetness. So I'm gonna do a risky thing here and honestly just guess most of the sweet ones.
Okay.
So I think barbecue,
Barbecue.
mayo.
Mayo.
So I'm gonna guess those as my 2 sweet
Okay.
ones. But then I'm also gonna go with sriracha, just in case if that was the spicy.
Okay.
I smell.
Sriracha.
And then I'm gonna go with A1 sauce.
A1. All right, so not bad. You got 2 out of 5.
Oh, all
That
right,
puts
put
you
me
in the
up by
lead.
one.
You're by 5-4. All right, last shot here. See if I can overtake Jared. Go ahead and let it roll.
All right, spin number 1. Okay.
Okay, I'm trying to hear the grin on your face.
Not bad, not bad. Just trying to remember them.
That is hard.
Okay, I don't think yours is that bad so far.
So far? Okay. Until I hit the ghost pepper. Oh, man.
Yeah, yours still isn't that bad.
Okay, all right.
I think it might be hard to guess, but it's
Yeah,
not.
see, that's the hard. You've had some very distinguishable flavors. I'm a bit shocked you got mayo last time. You here?
Yep, don't stick your finger in the hole. Okay, you're good.
All right, here we go. Last shot. See if I can do it here.
You're good. Get this
All right, so there's really one flavor that stood out like crazy. And if I'm wrong on this, I'd be surprised. But there's a little bit of spice in there too. So I think there's two that I got. So I'm gonna say A1 sauce.
Okay.
I'm gonna say sriracha.
Okay.
I'm gonna say mayonnaise.
Okay.
I'm gonna say, just in case, I'm gonna say sweet chipotle barbecue.
Okay.
And then let's go ahead with, let's do something simple and just say ketchup.
All right. So you got 3 right.
Hey!
If I can remember.
So that gives me 3, you said?
Yep, you won.
So, so that gives 6 plus 4, that's 10 to 7. Not bad.
Good score though. Good
Oh
score.
yeah, that was pretty fun.
fun.
We'll have to do it again
Yeah.
with students. Go ahead and like and comment. Let us know what combination was your least favorite. Which one you thought was absolutely disgusting. I know looking at the one you had last time.
Yours was just as gross.
Was pretty nasty looking.
But-
But we got some more nuggets to finish, so we're gonna finish those, and then go ahead and right after this, you're gonna catch Jared's message for today. So I encourage you guys, if you're watching on YouTube, just to keep watching and be encouraged there. If you're watching on Instagram, go ahead and click the second video to be able to watch his message for today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you.
How's it going, y'all? Thank you again for joining us for our second week of Virtual Epic as we continue through our series, Weakness Weaponized, where weak become strong. Now, last week, Dan opened up the book of 2 Corinthians, and Dan really set the foundation of as we are going to continue out this series. And as we look through the writings of Paul, we can see how a great God can turn the weaknesses of a broken people into strengths, and how he can use those strengths to build and expand his kingdom. But today we're going to be looking at somebody in the Old Testament, and when you hear this person's name, you might not think of this person initially as weak, because this person was a king. This person slayed giants. Of course, this person is David. And while yes, you are correct, David did become king, and he slayed giants, and he went on to do great things, but like many great leaders, David started from humble beginnings. And that's what we're going to be talking about today as we look through a chapter in 1 Samuel chapter 16. But for some background for this passage, where we are at in this passage, the current king of Israel actually is King Saul. But prior to this passage, Saul had actually disobeyed the commands of the Lord. And because of his disobedience, God is not letting him be king anymore. So he gives Samuel the command to go out, find and appoint a new king for Israel, one that God has chosen. And where else does that bring Samuel than to the house of Jesse? And that's what we're going to be starting about today in 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 11. So if you have your Bibles, feel free to follow along, but I am going to start in verse 11, and it says, "Then Samuel said to Jesse, 'Are all of your sons here?' And he said, 'There remains yet the youngest, but behold, he is keeping the sheep.' And Samuel said to Jesse, 'Send and get him, for we will not sit down until he comes here.'" So it's easy to see what David's first weakness was, and it was largely defined by his culture and time, and that was his youth. But despite David being young and being overlooked by much of his peers, God did not overlook David because of his youth. Now in this passage, we can see that Jesse knew that Samuel was coming to his house to see who was possibly the most qualified to be king. So Jesse lines up his oldest sons and he gets them ready, because in this time, in this culture, oftentimes the eldest sons would oftentimes get passed down the most inheritance, the most family wealth. So he gets them ready and to see who's going to be the most qualified. But Samuel enters and he sees the sons and inspects them, and he realizes that none of the sons are who God had chosen to be king. So Samuel poses the question, Jesse, is this all of your sons? And this is what I find the most interesting about this passage, is that even David's own father, Jesse, sells him short because of his youth. Now, guys, this is something that we can all really apply to our lives now. And guys, God does not overlook you because of your youth. God does not want to wait to use you until you're 18, 20 years old. No, he wants to use you now. Please do not think that God has no purpose for you because you're just in middle school or you're just in high school. Guys, these 7 years, God can use you greatly to expand his kingdom. Think about it. You're seeing the same people, the same community every single day. Think of the impact you can make on your friends and your peer group if you live for Christ Jesus. Moving on to David's second weakness, though, again, largely defined by his culture, was his occupation. Right after Jesse says that, hey, the youngest, he says, he is the youngest, but behold, he is keeping to the sheep. So David's occupation, his job for his family, was a shepherd. Now, in this time, being a shepherd was not a very admired job. It's not very glamorous. It still isn't today. I mean, put yourself in David's shoes. I mean, it's hard work. You're out in the field all day. It's hot. It's exhausting. And you're with these animals. But think about the comparison and the imagery we can see here with David's actual job for his family, and the comparison and the imagery we can see of Jesus being that leader and that shepherd for his flock, being us and his people. Because David had many different tasks and many different jobs as a shepherd, but primarily a shepherd's job is to lead his sheep. Because if you didn't know this, sheep are not very smart animals. Oftentimes they have no path, no direction, and they just wander around aimlessly in fields if they do not have this leader to follow, because they're almost lost. So it was David's job as the shepherd to lead his flock through these fields and pastures. But not only was it David's job to lead his sheep, but it's also the shepherd's job to protect his sheep. So let's say some kind of predator like a wolf or something is coming to harm David's sheep. It is also the shepherd's job to protect his flock at all cost. So we can see what David's weaknesses are, and again, mostly found in his culture, because he's young and he's just a young shepherd boy. But that makes us ask the questions, well, where do David's strengths lie? And to find this, we need to jump back a few verses. Still in Samuel chapter 16, though, but we can look at Samuel chapter 16, verse 7, and it says this. This is God speaking to Samuel, giving the instructions to him, like I said earlier, because Saul had disobeyed him. So this is Samuel hearing the instructions of the Lord to what to look out and find in his new king. It says this in verse 7. But the Lord said to Samuel, do not look on his appearance or on the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For the Lord sees not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart. So again, he's saying he has rejected Saul. Do not look on his height. Do not look on his appearance, because it is thought primarily the reason why they picked Saul to be the first king of Israel was because of his height and because of his stature. It is thought that Saul was possibly well over 6 feet tall. But God says, you know what, Samuel, that is not what makes a person to be qualified as king. That's not what I'm looking for in my king to lead my people. But it says, look upon his heart, not his appearance. And this is where we can find David's strength, is that God looked upon David's heart. Again, jumping back a few more chapters, in 1 Samuel chapter 13, verse 14, it says, but now your kingdom shall not continue. The Lord has sought out a man after his own heart. This is God talking to Saul right after that act of disobedience, because he's saying, you know what, you don't get to be king anymore. I'm going to find a new king, and this king is going to be a man after my own heart. And this is one of my favorite things about David, and I find it so cool because David is a man after God's own heart. Despite his weaknesses and early when he's criticized because of his youth and his occupation, despite those weaknesses, and even the weaknesses and the brokenness after he becomes king, when we could see that he lusts after Bathsheba, God still sees that he is a man after his own heart, and he sees him as worthy. So guys, as we come to a close today, I just want to end with this. I'm sure all of you have heard the saying, do not judge a book by its cover. And I think that's kind of how we can see God here, is God does not judge us by our appearance or our weaknesses or the cover and the mistakes of our own story. He looks deeper than that. He looks at our heart, and if we have accepted Jesus, he sees Jesus in our heart, and he wants to use us. He wants to use us to expand his kingdom and to impact this valley.